You know, I think social networking platforms have had the dual effect of attracting hundreds of millions of people, but also alienating many. Those who've used it and also those like me who never joined them. Not because I never wanted to sort of enjoy the benefits that they offered, but because of my sort of fears over privacy and my fundamental skepticism of sort of where technology is headed. So what do you say to that? And how do you try to coax those people, the unconverted, the fearful, but the ones who are equally as enthusiastic as you to join sort of the global community, whether online or personally?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's a great question, and it's definitely a concern shared by many. I think first and foremost, we say the word technology and we tend to put it on a pedestal, and that pedestal makes it very abstract, and then that abstraction makes it very scary. And we have to keep in mind that technology is ultimately just a tool, and these are tools, and we pick up the tools and we give power to the tools, and we can also take that power away from the tools. Fundamentally, I believe that all tools and all technologies are really just reflections and mirrors of our desires as a civilization, our desires as a humanity, and ultimately, I think a reminder and potentially even a crutch that we're already born with everything that we need. And I truly believe that, and you see this trend where we're moving from these abstractions where, before a computer would fill this room, and now it fits in my pocket, and maybe very soon around my wrist. And just 10 years ago, the only way to input something was a keyboard and a mouse, and now we're using our fingers, and potentially very, very soon we'll be using our voice and more of these very human aspects. So the interfaces keep becoming more and more human, and utilizing more of what we're born with. And I think what's important to me about Twitter is that I think it's the closest thing that we have to, right now, that we have to like a global consciousness, where you can actually see the world in real time. And not only can you see what's happening from a news level and from an event level, but you can actually see how people think and feel about it. And ultimately, if we have more of that sort of activity, and the nice thing about Twitter is you share as much as you want, or you can just stop. If we have more of that activity, though, we actually see how people live and what they desire, and how they want to see the world, how they want to change the world, how they want to live in the world. And ultimately, I believe that creates a potential for empathy. And if we have more empathy in the world, we have more opportunity to remove a lot of conflict. So I think broadly, we can use these tools in a way to build more empathy around the world, and that empathy can actually has a chance to diminish a lot of the conflict that we see, and we've also internalized. But I believe that we have the tools necessary to do it without these technologies as well. And I think these technologies really serve a purpose of reminding us of that. And maybe in 20 years, 50 years, we will understand how to lock more of the powers of the mind in order to do that. We're busy exploring space, and we're busy exploring the physical universe, but what really interests me are the folks that are really exploring the depths of consciousness, and how the consciousness actually interconnects and how it relates. And I think technology provides a model for that might teach us in a different way. So I think it's something to be excited about, but it again goes back to these controls of how do I turn it off and how do I turn it on. And if that's not intuitive, or if it's not apparent, then it's going to feel scary. And if we continue to use these words like technology or disruption, or if we don't explain the why of what we're doing with these things, these are things to increase the amount of people who can participate. And these are things that increase velocity of communication or effort. And if you increase velocity and you increase participation, you get time back for more meaningful pursuits. And I think that's a net positive, but we can also use the tools in a very negative way. And we have to make that decision. It's ours and ours alone. It's not the tools.